Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Julia and today I'm going to be taking you through all of the books that I got this winter. I've got quite a few books to get through, so I'm going to keep my descriptions of each one quite brief, but if you want to know more about any of them there will be links down below so you can go and check those out afterwards. So I'm going to start off with the books I got for Christmas. I was very lucky and I got 3 books that I really wanted to read as well as a gift card. And the first book that I got was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I'd wanted to read this book for quite a while, so I was really happy when I unwrapped it. This book is a fantasy set in our world of the future, where the human race is basically in crisis. They're running out of fossil fuels, people are living in poverty, and actually the majority of the human race spends most of their days hooked up to a virtual reality system called the Oasis. And basically what's going on in this story is that the creator of the Oasis has died, and people around the world are competing in a competition to basically win ownership of his huge estate. Most of the story takes place in this fantasy world and that's what I really loved about it. It completely captured my imagination. I also loved the characters, there were some really great friendships in this. And so yeah, it was just a really great fantasy story. I highly recommend it and gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So the next book I unwrapped was The Girls by Emma Cline. This is one that I haven't yet read but I saw loads about on the internet when it came out last year. This one is set in California in 1969 and it's basically about one girl's involvement with a cult, which is something that I've never read about before but sounds really interesting and I can't wait to get stuck into. I'm hopefully going to get around to it this month because I can't wait to read it. And the last book I was given for Christmas is one that you've probably all heard of by now. It's been so popular all over YouTube and Instagram recently, and that is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I don't actually have a physical copy with me to show you because I recently moved house and I couldn't bring all my books with me, so it's at my parents' house. The story is basically about 2 teenagers who meet and fall in love over the course of one day in America. The boy was born in America and he has Korean parents, and the girl is actually from Nigeria and is an illegal immigrant who's about to be deported that evening. There's a really interesting discussion about culture and identity weaved into the story, which I really loved and made it so interesting. Because they kind of meet and fall in love and it only goes over one day, sounds like it does run the risk of being a bit cheesy, but I didn't get that at all. It was genuinely a really great read and I really recommend it. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars out of 5. And then with my Waterstones gift card that I was also very lucky to receive, I picked up a copy of a book that I've wanted for so long, and that is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. I'm so excited by this book. This book is a sequel to A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which I read last year and absolutely loved. This book is set in the same universe but follows different characters. I'd actually been kind of putting off reading it because I was kind of scared to read the sequel for a book that I love so much, but I actually just started reading this last night. I'm 100 pages in and I'm absolutely in love with it. This book follows an artificial intelligence character who has just been installed in a human body for the first time. That's something that is completely illegal in this universe and it has to be kept completely under wraps. And once she's been installed, she basically moves in with this engineer called Pepper, who is very lovely and kind and really looks out for her. It's basically all about the AI finding her place in the world, and Pepper's got a really interesting backstory too, but I won't give you any spoilers. Just like the last book, it is really character-led, so if you enjoy that sort of story, I definitely recommend you check out this book. So far, it is amazing. Right, 4 more books to go. One of the things I wanted to do this year was read more comic books, and in Padfoot and Prongs video, I was introduced to a book called Giant Days. This particular comic book was really interesting to me because it wasn't a fantasy, it wasn't a science fiction, it was a contemporary, which is something that I haven't tried before. This one is about 3 teenage girls who start university for the first time, and in each issue they tackle like a different thing that comes with starting university. So there's an issue about freshers flu, and it's about boys and talking about feminism, and it's just really great. It's really funny, I love the characters, their friendship's really adorable, and the art style is nice too. This one is a really funny and adorable read. It's a great contemporary comic and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is one that I picked up recently when I went into Tesco to buy some food, and then I came out with my dinner and a book. And that book is The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr. Again, this is another book that I've heard loads about on the internet. It seems to be quite popular at the moment. And the story is basically all about a girl called Flora who has amnesia, and she just doesn't make memories day to day until she meets a boy and she kisses him, which she shouldn't have, and she remembers. The thing that really sold me about this book was at the bottom of the blurb it says, "I look at my hands, one of them says, Flora, be brave." And that just hit me right here. And at that point I knew I had to buy it. But yeah, I'm going to start this book next week. It's very slim, so it's the perfect book to read on my commute when I'm pressed up against other people like this and I'm trying to read. So the next book I've got to show you is one that I actually don't know a whole lot about but sounds really good, and that is River of Ink by Paul M.M. Cooper. Let's pause for a moment to appreciate this gorgeous cover. It's just so lovely. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I do know that it's a fantasy set in a kingdom that's at war, and it's all about the court poet, who I believe must have a pretty important position with the king. And on the back it says, "The king taught his people fear, but a poet taught them hope." And I just think that sounds great. So yeah, can't wait to read this one. Sorry if the framing just moved slightly, my camera ran out of battery just when I was on the last book, which is typical. But yes, the last book I want to talk about is one that I devoured and absolutely loved, and that is We Come Apart by Sarah Crossan and Brian Conahan. Just like Sarah Crossan's previous book, it's written in free verse, and this story follows two teenagers who are caught stealing and then have to take part in a community service scheme. And this is where they both first meet. Without going into too many details, these teenagers are both living in really difficult circumstances, and that makes this book really emotional to read. But that's emotional in a good way. I love a book that makes me feel something. The book switches between these two characters as the narrator, and it's quite easy to tell them apart because Niku's sections are written in quite broken English. It seems that he'd just immigrated from Romania. But it's a really great story, really emotional, really sad. Definitely recommend you check it out. I actually really like the free verse element. I think it adds a really great rhythm to the story, and it's something that Sarah Crossan is really great at. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And there you go, those are all of the books that I got this winter. It's actually not loads and loads, which I'm quite pleased with. I'm trying really hard this year to not just hoard books for the sake of it. I'm trying to buy books when I actually think I might have a chance to read them sometime soon. I mean, we're only a couple months into the year now. Hopefully I'll be able to continue this, but we will see. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!